Alright, good evening everyone. Welcome to the kingdom. This is Shooter McGavin, and today we will be going over Always Strikes Twice as an event for free-to-play players. I'll also be doing a little bit of grinding during the middle to the end of it, so you guys are welcome to join me throughout. I'm also going to post my Discord, so if any of you would like to join me, you are welcome to. Alright. Let me make sure everything's set up. Now, tonight is a Tuesday night, so it's actually kind of strange that we have a video drop at this point. So let me just go ahead and jump right into it after I collect resources to make sure no one's capping my lands. Those of you that expressed comments on my last Castle Crusher videos, I appreciate it. That was a highlight video for me. I really enjoyed it. But as for today, let's go ahead and hop into Stormbore's new event. Alright, so the first thing that stands out about this event is Dawn of Titans has put a lot of stuff a lot earlier on in the soul counts. While there are less tokens, like my last video said, it would be appreciated if they gave us more gems in placement. And so, for the first time, I think ever, we've had 1,000 gems at a 4,500 slot. For free-to-play players, this is actually big for the grind, because 1,000 gems is worth more than a token to us. Now, maybe it's me being a little greedy, but I would love to have 1,500 gems as a replacement for a token rather than 1,000. But, hey, I'm happy that, I don't think I was necessarily heard, but I'm happy that they were thinking about us free-to-play players as well, considering we normally get tossed aside. Now, beyond that, you have all your normal stuff at the beginning. Oh, Vintage. Are you in here? Big Vintage showed up. Alright. Well, if you're able to jump into chat, Vintage, you're welcome to join. I enjoyed your video earlier today. Alright, so looking through here, once again, this is all up until the Divine Gems. It's all normal things that we normally see. Going forward, I mean, this is all just food for you. Even you new free-to-play players, it's great to get a Manfred or something like that, but if you're going for Manfred as a free-to-play player, you might as well bite the bullet and go for Stormbore. You get a 4-star just for a little bit more. What's up, Drew? Now, I'm not normally one to push getting a 4-star Titan, and I'm not necessarily doing that today. Good to have you in here, Born. But this event is very unique. It's alright. Any of you guys that want to join me in Discord, you're welcome to. I'll post the link one more time, even though it's right up there at the top. Let's make it easier for everyone to find. Alright, so I'm going to say the main reason I am pushing on this event right now is this Eye of the Storm relic. This Eye of the Storm relic, as a free-to-play player, it's a toss-up on whether or not you're actually going to need it. It is an amazing relic, but keep in mind, unless you have a Titan that does lightning damage, it's useless to you. Its two other abilities are Archer Damage and Archer Armor Piercing. But if anyone who got Odin in the most previous event, this relic will be a core relic for you. At the end of the game, it will be on your Odin. End of story. And that is simply because... Doom, welcome to the Discord. Alright. Yeah, and like, if you have a 4-star Lightning Titan, this relic is going to be decent on them. But where it will really shine is any lightning titan that buffs archers, because you want the full gambit of the abilities here. So if you do not have a lightning titan and you don't anticipate getting one anytime soon, then this event is just going to be free for you. I would basically try to grind up to 1,000 souls over 2 days. That way you're not spending any gems or anything like that. You're not doing any big commitment, because a 2-day event, you can get 500 souls a day. That's not going to be an issue. Alright. Hold on. There we go. Give me a second, guys. I have got to plug in another part of my headset, because now I realize that I didn't have my mic on for Discord. Doom, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Yeah.
Alright. Welcome back. I'm going to go ahead and turn off my music here. So, once again, you don't have a lightning titan and you don't anticipate getting one for a while, and you're running low on gems, don't feel like you need to do this event. As a free-to-play player, you're normally using all your... unlike everyone else, we don't have any extra relics left over, because we use every bit and then we grind the rest. So 1,000 should be your target there. But if you do plan on getting this Eye of the Storm, once again, it is a critical relic for Odin. If you have Odin, this belongs to you. You need this relic. And if you're going to get Eye of the Storm, you might as well push to get these divine gems 2,500 higher. I go ahead and skip over the epic token and Stormbore, because while they are nice, them alone aren't worth 1,000 gems in my mind. Just because it's a toss-up on what skills you're going to get, on whether or not you're even going to level them. And the epic token, you don't even know if you're going to get a 4-star Titan. And so I consider the 150 divine gems are not worth 2,500 soul grind. But when you tack on the extra epic token and Stormbore, it pushes me over the edge to say, fine, I'll just get it. And these are just extras. Pisces, once again, you are always welcome to let me know where your Ayaka is, because you are the only one that does that in all the chats and always brings a smile to my face. Now, once you get to the divine gems, guys, if you plan on going that far, stop. Titan Soul is garbage. And Stormbreaker, while it's nice to have a 4-star lightning relic, be honest with yourself. When you're getting relics and you're building them up, and base this upon my last video, alright? My last video where I was running those Goliaths into battle. The problem with the Goliaths wasn't that I was taking too much damage. It was just that it was so slow to get through. And even if I had more damage on my Goliaths, it was just their speed that prevented me from really making use of them. Spearmen are going to be worse, because if they have to take tight corners, they move slower than Goliaths. And so you don't need a relic that's going to buff their damage or armor piercing. If this was a relic that buffed, let's say, their armor and a resistance, then I'd be all for it. But what's going to happen is you're going to get this relic if you grind all the way up there, and it's just going to sit in your inventory for years as you try to find a way to make it useful. So stop at 7,500 if you go to that point. Once again, if you don't have any lightning titans, none of this stuff is going to mean anything to you. Save your gems and just grind it out to 1,000 souls to get yourself the 250 gems, as well as your token and portal stones. And do not use your... Dang it, I just used the portal stones. anyway, I planned on using them anyway. Yeah, but that's the concept behind it. If you can save the portal stones and you're not grinding all the way, use them for the event this weekend. All right, let me catch up with chat. Congratulations, Pisces. You've got a level 31 Thor and missed the fusion event. I'm glad that you guys aren't having a chance to go through all this. All right.
Hey, shoot.
Yeah.
Have you gone over the individual rewards yet?
This is just not the ranking rewards yet. The ranking rewards is another story that I was going to jump into, but what do you mean by the individual rewards? Right here?
Yeah, that's what I've meant. The individual ranking awards, usually top 5, top 10, top 100 awards.
All right.
Just how different it's normally been.
Okay. Well, as a free-to-play player, the one thing I'm going to tell you now is do not expect to get in the top 250. If you push hard and you go beyond, then you might be able to get a Titan Soul. But let's be honest. One of the reasons you're going to stop at 7,500 souls is the off chance that not a lot of people do this event. And you're hoping, beyond hope, that you can get to the 2,500 gem category. So if you are not pushing on this event for anything, just see how far you can get up in these free gems that are offered here. Because this is a lot of gems. I doubt I'm thinking more than 2,000 people will complete this event, and this 2,500 gems is going to be off limits. But if you can get between the 2,000 to 10,000 range, that's 1,000 extra gems for grinding you can get right there. Does that make sense?
No, yeah, it makes sense. I just wanted to get your input and analysis of it. It's definitely tempting looking up those ranks and, the different level Thunderboard that you can get. You can get lower rankings and still get a pre-leveled, 4-star Titan for using food as compared to what is that thing like top 5 or top 4, and you only get a level 1 Thor.
That's true. I didn't even go over that too much. You're right. This Stormboar, they're offering it at a great discount here because it's everywhere. But because it is an individual event, it will just be harder to get. And so I'm just going to break it to the free-to-play players. Don't expect to hit the top 250. And if you're not in the top 250, you do not want to be in the top 250 to 1,000. This little area right here is 100 times worse than if you were at the 2,500 gems.
Yeah, free to play is going to be almost impossible to get that unless the other top of the world servers are crashing for the next 24 hours.
It's true. All right, so once again, the main reason that you are doing this event, if you are pushing for it, is for this relic right here, and that is only if you have Odin, because this is a relic that belongs with Odin. It was built for Odin. Even with Odin with bad skills, this relic will be something that you use and abuse. Doom is on with me, Pisces. And Doom, what's your in-game name?
My name is actually Doom, but over on chat and whatnot, it's my full name, Drew Little, and that pops up on the YouTube channel chat. But
fair.
Since it's still like my personal email that I send out to clients and whatnot, I can't put my Donna Titan username and avatar image on there.
Fair enough. And I understand. I'm happy to have you in here, though. Okay, so that is the analysis that we have here. But yeah, once again, if you don't have a Lightning Titan, if you don't have Odin, one, you need to truly consider if this is something that you want to push for. This is a nice event because you're able to save up a bunch of items for the weekend. I'm actually going to give myself several relics to use in this event because this is a weekday event and I don't have as much time to grind. So,
yeah, I mean, I'm along with you. I'm pretty much going to stop that Eye of the Storm. As you said, that's kind of a relic you can't miss. You do have Odin, and to tell you the truth, I'm surprised that they put that as cheap as they did. Since that's kind of the one everyone wants to go for, it's kind of surprised they didn't put that at the end of it. They put the Stormbreaker at the end, which that's only one time you can use for that, and that's Valkyrie. So that is a nice benefit that it's only sitting there at 5,000.
It's true. And I'm glad that you guys get to use your other relics you haven't used here as well, Pisces. Now, for those of you who actually have gone through and seen my free-to-play series, and when I do event preparation one, I always talk about leveling up your champions or your titans to level 20 so you can get the second relic slot. This is one of those times where it's benefited me, because I have a flame hide that I can use my 5-star champion relic on and a 4-star bitter dirks. And so I still run through this despite my titan being pretty garbage, because my panthers are super strong. Yeah, this is the cheapest a 4-star titan has ever been. I just don't normally talk about 4-star titans too much on this channel, because, I mean, as a free-to-play player, you're not aiming for the titans. You're hoping for luck whenever you do get titans, but you're aiming for the relics.
One from purely observation standpoint, from again, I've been on only since when Loki was introduced, but looking at around that time in the last 2-week events that we have as well, I think this event is definitely a good mesh of kind of the worst of the worst, which is what we've seen the last 2 weeks, and more of the traditional, portal stones and gems and relics and titans getting intermixed there. I'm, to see that, they're making a shift to more of a balance, to where it's a little bit equal distribution of divine gems and normal gems, and portal stones with some good relics thrown in there too.
I agree. I do. Oh, dang it! That Italis is ripping me apart. Get over there, you bums. All right. I do appreciate that. Now, I like getting divine gems, but it's just seeing extra gems earlier on makes me feel a little bit better here, and I'm happy to sacrifice that extra event token, because those gems are more valuable to us than the event tokens as free-to-play players.
And you can argue that's for forging, right?
Right. And just because the average pull that you're going to get from, if you get a 3-star event relic in this, you are not getting as much souls as you would if you grinded out those 1,000 gems. Because the 1.2 boost, I think you'll end up getting like 900 and something.
Mm-hmm.
That might be a little bit inaccurate. I'll have to go check the math behind it, but it's close, and you have to pull a 3-star just for that to happen. While you don't get all the benefits of raiding and getting all of the extra relics as well. So, just the event alone, I'll probably level up another 4-star relic. And I was looking to do another event. I was itching to do another one, because the last one I completed was Odin, because the events previously had been pretty garbage.
Yeah, just with the rating I was able to do tonight, around, in between 150 and 200 relics, I was able to get my ice helm from level 3 to level 8. So, yeah, I'll always take these events for the grinding and the relics to try to forge those 4 stars.
It's good to have you on here, Bloodwolf. All right. Now, how far do you plan on going in the event, Drew?
Well, definitely for sure. I have a storm, and then depending on how much time is left, I may make that push for because I don't have them, and because we all keep saying it's rare to have a 4-star Titan that I don't know if I'll have enough gems or relics to get to those divine gems. It'd be nice, but definitely item store for sure.
All right. And, to be honest with you, that should be the goal for anyone with Odin. Minimum goal. And I will show you guys what... Oh, okay. If it's a little bit hard to hear Drew, then I'm going to move my speakers a little closer to my phone and turn up the volume. Thank you, Pisces, for that. Oh, dang it. I always hate it whenever your Titan gets in the way of your Panthers.
Well, it's better than you put them on auto raid.
That's true. And I have noticed that it seems as though maybe it's just today, but I feel like my Panthers are getting stuck a lot more when I attack. So maybe that's just me, but
kind of a side comment. So your video with Sonar, man, I was laughing so much with your theory. That award that was some epic comedy there.
It was, and I got to tell you, however much you were laughing, I was enjoying it just as much.
So was boring, but yet so entertaining.
Well, who would ever think of doing a video with Goliaths attacking?
Probably just.
Wow. You got a green from your guy from a level 33 that attacked you? I'm level 34. If I got beat by a champion, I'd cry myself to sleep with my attacking force. Good job. Yeah. He put his Ayaka on defense. Now you keep breaking up a little bit, Drew.
Is it better now?
That's a little bit better now. Yeah. Now, I am going to go ahead and let you guys know. Oh, Zalon, good to have you in here. You're welcome to join us in Discord if you like. I am going to be starting my new series. It's probably going to be tomorrow night, I think, where I'm going to take Scotty Too Hottie's Titan, and we're going to build out builds based upon subpar skills on the Titans, because everyone wants the perfect Titan, but a lot of us have to deal with what we're given. And having the right relics can still make those Titans into formidable forces. So you guys are welcome to join me on that. It should be. I'm thinking tomorrow night. If not tomorrow night, it'll be the night after. I do want your guys' comments, and if it goes well enough, you're welcome to start submitting comments in the bottom for future episodes for that. Now, I don't mean to steal Zalon's idea, but I haven't seen any new videos lately from that, and mine's going to be more focused on subpar Titans as opposed to high-level Titans. Amazing ones.
Hey, what's up?
Hey, good to have you in here. We got Vintage and Bloodwolf.
Hey, Shooter, I was going to see if you could read me.
Read your chat.
Am I coming over?
Yeah, I can hear you. But are you coming over? I feel like there's some sort of message in there that I'm missing completely.
Very thing. It's are you reading me?
Yes, yeah. It's late. My brain's shutting down a little bit, and that's why I love streaming at this time, because I basically say what's on my mind. All right.
Hey, those are when the best ideas are generated. How are we doing, everybody?
We are doing pretty dang well. I'm glad to see that you guys are crazy enough to be up this late as well.
Oh yeah, no, I took a nap earlier.
Alright. Now, my thoughts on the Eye of the Storm relic, as well as the Stormbreaker. I'm going to tell you guys, like, while I believe it's going to be a core part of Odin's build, it's definitely not going to be the first or second relic that you equip to him. It'll be like the third or fourth one, but it is going to be crucial to him.
So Don Powers brought up a good point on my comments of the stream I had this morning about how we didn't mention about the Stormbreaker working well with Valkyrie, and I was like, oh, that's a good point. That is a decent relic for Valkyrie as well. So.
Well, we say that, but are you really going to rely on your spearmen to do damage? Because they walk so freaking slow. In the last video, someone attacks you, I just want those spearmen to be as sticky as possible. I'd rather give them 50 more armor and 40% more health.
If you already have that, all I'm saying is not everybody has every relic you need for every build you need. So it just depends on exactly what your situation. So even with the test account, getting relics added to my account to try to even make the perfect build, sometimes you don't even have enough. You don't even get all the relics you need for that. It just, again, depends on your situation.
Oh, and that's fine. I could see it being a sixth relic here or there.
Yeah.
And maybe there's going to be a use for it down the road, but that use is beyond my wanting to spend on my wallet to get. And I appreciate the extra ideas, because to be honest with you, sometimes I go overboard and cut things out that I shouldn't. For example, the Theros event. I said pass on it because I had other Titans, and while the relics were good, they were too expensive. Looking back on it, I wish I had gone for it, because those relics were that good, and Theros, with the right skills, is a top Titan.
You're also speaking for a free-to-play aspect. From my vantage point, I try to give an overview from all aspects. So some players that are going to finish this event regardless are going to say, well, what do I do with it? You know what I mean?
All right. I can get behind that.
Just like you were talking about, Shooter, making the videos with, optimal and suboptimal Titans. I mean, I can see that Stormbreaker being, useful backward, only got health armor, for buffs, if they're lacking some, they've got that rogue. If your Valkyrie had attacking skills for the spearmen, then yeah, it's not to be that useful. So it's not situational.
All right. Well, I hope that you guys completely prove me wrong, and one of you finds that is the most OP relic known to man. I will take my hat off and bow before you.
You weren't wrong with your assessment of the fact that it's not a first choice relic. Okay, that is, it's not.
Well, I know that you guys aren't contesting that. I'm just saying I really hope I'm wrong with that, because I love being proved wrong.
First choice relic. It is a fourth, fifth, and sixth slot relic. It's not going to be. It's not key for right away use. Let's look at that.
All right, now I'm going to turn down my speakers a little bit, because now Vintage is telling me that the sound's too big.
No, it's one of the guys on the Discord.
Oh, that makes more sense.
Coming out of their speakers, and it's coming back delayed.
All right. Then that would be appreciated. Anyone that, just check your speaker volume, see if you're actually replaying that.
Or also, the other thing is, if you're not talking, you could just mute yourself. That's also helpful on Discord.
Or if you're Zalon, you could just preemptively mute yourself, and everyone would be grateful. Shots fired.
No! Stay.
No, I only say that because you're the most popular YouTuber in the room.
Oh, you think so?
Blame
I don't know about that. I don't know about that. Vintage is quite popular. quite popular. Popular enough that I'm told, hey, have you checked out Vintage's channel before? I'm like, of course I have. Oh, God.
Well, Vintage is our resident call out the cheaters guy. We're going to rely on you every event now, Vintage.
I know. Somehow I became the police.
Well, Natural Motion wasn't doing it, so I'm glad someone is.
Well, yeah, exactly. Very true, very true. I was going to say my favorite part about Vintage is even in a video like today's video, in a video where it's like, you know, of course, you know, he has his own vendettas and everything else, but the thing is, you know, his opinion for the rest of the community, even though it's like 80% super positive, it's still a rant. And it's still good. It's still good that way. I like it that way.
That is good to hear.
This felt like an apology event.
Yeah.
But, you know, we all have our thing, right? And wronged. We got cheated out of something, or, you know, like with the whole 500 Divine Gem poll and people getting 1-star Titan XP relic thing. And, you know, no event can apologize for that kind of stuff until it gets fixed. That was the point.
Oh, of course. I just like how even when as positive as it was, because I like you just like I can't stress this enough, and then at the end it's like, all right, I'm still got to get off my soapbox.
Sometimes I can't help myself.
Yeah.
Now here's the question for you two, and anyone else in Discord. Is it going to start become a thing where we see 4-star Titans lower in the soul counts? Because I do think the general consensus in the public is turning away from Titans being amazing unless they have guaranteed skills or the right skills. And so
I'll take that first.
Yeah, I mean, as long as you guys understand the nature of the question, I'm good with it. Whoever takes it.
The only thing I would say to that would be the events, if they're shorter like this, will only be during the week. I don't think they're going to start, you know, shortening the events to like 2 days on the weekend, like a Saturday, Sunday event or something like that. I truly believe they'll continue to be either 3 or 4 day events starting either on Fridays or Thursdays. So, I mean, could we see lower soul count events? Yes. And not like 2 and 3 4-star Titans every event, because I think that gets way too heavy and burns out the community a lot faster, honestly. When we have the 2 and 3 4-stars in an event, 20K, 24K. So yeah, I would say we could be seeing a smaller soul count and only 1 4-star Titan offered, that kind of stuff, a little bit more commonly, I think.
All right. I bring it up because I do see a 6 months, 9 months, a year down the road, we're already pretty dang saturated with Titans, and while there are still some those Titans aren't going to wow and overcome us unless there is a new skill or something new accordingly. And even our relics are getting to the point where we're going to have complete relic collections sooner rather than later. Where does the game go once we've reached that point of saturation both? I know we have things like Throne Wars, but
I got something.
All right.
I don't know if anybody remembers this at all, but it was something that was mentioned once on a dev live stream. Questions and stuff like that. Things brought up about ideas for the game and everything else. Did anybody ever remember when they mentioned about bringing in lands that had all sorts of different... the lands themselves would actually have buffs to the actual Titan.
What?
Something where, for instance, there's a lava land, and any fire Titans on defense there, or if you're bringing fire Titans in to attack, are going to get a serious buff based on the fact that it's a lava land.
I do remember that.
Yeah. I could see something where they decide to actually introduce other lands into the game. They would make it so that the actual battles would be changed based on that, making it slightly different.
that would be definitely a different approach. But I don't see events like what we have now changing too much. And while that'll be a difference to the gameplay, what rewards are we going to have down the road? I see that these experience relics were an attempt at a different type of reward. I see a lot of potential in this game, but I'm seeing walls that they're building themselves into by following the same formula.
Yeah, so where I'm going to jump in and just agree is that they really need to manage power creep.
Yes.
It's critical that they manage it right. Because, like you said, they're going to run out of stuff. And then what? 5-star Titans, which would tick off every single person in the game because now all their Titans are trash.
Yeah.
Management of power creep is super critical. So I have this idea book just loaded with ideas. There's all these different type classes.
Real quick before I forget, thank you, Born, for that comment. I saved up those so hard to get 31 relics for reasons. All right, go ahead. Sorry about that. Tried to respond to chat as often as I can.
So many things that they could do with the Titans and troops. I love the idea. I don't know if anyone's remembers me bringing this up, but having a healing class, either troop or Titan, which is basically call it a support class. You deploy them along with your troops, and obviously it's critical you keep them out of fire, but just heal your troops during the battle and so forth. Then you can also have relics that debuff. You can have relics. There used to be relics in this game. I don't know if they were available after global launch, but back in beta, there were relics that specifically troop types, as in, for instance, your Titan would do extra damage against certain types of troops. This thing's back. There's so many different things they can do to, move the power curve 1%, 2% at a time, and so forth. So,
and
they just got to do it right.
You mentioned they mentioned. I think it was an idea. I don't know if it was something the devs mentioned or it was an idea brought up, but cursed relics. Do you remember that?
Oh no.
Okay, because they taught. Well, I think it might have been something somebody brought up to the devs, mentioning how it would be a relic that would have a superior buff, super OP buff. It's like 2 skills or 3 skills, or well, obviously 2 skills. 2 skills that were really good, but then there would be 1 skill that would be actually something negative, and it would make it so that you had to sacrifice something to make something else a lot better. See what I'm saying?
Being really interesting, because you have 2 big bonuses and one that's detrimental. Maybe it turns your Titan into a glass cannon or something like that, to where if they get hit by anything, it's dead.
Yeah, it was just another idea where you could make it so that you could really make something super OP, but still have to sacrifice. Again, this game is all about, every time you notice anything changes in this game, something else is sacrificed. Oh, we're going to put divine gems in the milestones. You lose gems. Shooter McGavin blows up. You know what I mean? Stuff like that. You understand, certain parties are appeased, other parties are not. And it's going to be always a give and take. They're never going to be, we're going to fix relic forging. Like I've said multiple times, and I will continue to say this. When they fix relic forging, it'll still take hundreds of relics to get your relics up to where you want them to be. It's not going to be like, I get to take 2 relics and I can max it out really quickly. No, it's not going to be the case.
Well, I'm not going to hold my breath that they will ever cater to the free-to-play crowd, because that's just bad business decisions. So I don't fault them for that at all. But I would like you to answer Cage's question here at the bottom as thoroughly as you possibly can.
Oh, wait, me?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, hold on a second. I didn't have that up.
He asked, would curse relics penalize troops to buff Titans, make champions and paladins useful?
I believe they could go either way. I believe it could buff. It could take away from the Titan to buff the troops, or take away from the troops to buff the Titan. I believe they could go either way with those relics.
That's an interesting thought.
Why not? Because obviously the game has two different sides to the relics. Titan buffs and troop buffs. Some relics are very much on one side, some are very much on the other, and some, as we've seen very recently, are on the Venn diagram, are all in the middle, you know?
I mean, if I could jump in real quick, that is one thing that I noticed kind of missing from this game is that everything is buffing Titans and troops, but what is kind of lacking in this game compared to others are those skills or relics or, class advantages that do take away from the Titan that you are facing, or does take away from the troops that you are attacking. Whether they be an elemental advantage or it's a special skill on a relic that takes away, armor from your opposing army. I mean, I just want to jump in and say that is one thing that's lacking in this game that could definitely add more variety and add more playing style to the players that have been around for a while.
I could get behind that as well. I mean, you guys bring up some very good points and have spawned some ideas in my own mind about possible directions that this game could go. I mean, for example, you guys know that my series talking about the resist to all, resist to melee, resist to ranged are currently, I think, the most powerful skills in the game, but they are pretty garbage at the moment for most because you just don't have relic sets to complete them out. If they do put those things out, I mean, I like the idea of having a relic that you get from maybe the arena where, you lower the resistances of all enemy troops by 15% or 20%. Because at that point, you have counterplay. I don't like games where there's no counterplay. And while I love the idea of making my Titan and troops invincible, the game breaks it whenever are imbalances like that.
Oh, what, Shear? I think as you go down this path here, something I've been paying a lot of attention to, especially since that Head of Mimir in the Munin came out with the resist versus range, resist versus melee, is that they've actually made a couple of mistakes along the way, and there are some paths to making troops immune to damage, and the only answer to that would be relics that debuff enemy troops.
And, that's I'm glad that we're going down this train of thought, because I thought I was the only one crazy enough to think that way.
Because I have this phenomenal Matano, and resist against everything. It is extremely difficult to beat, and
yeah, but because it's capped, there is a way to beat it still, even
there
if.
Is.
But the other, and you're right. I mean, I like the inherent flaw in the resistances to elements because it can still be beat. But
with these resist against range, resist against melee, let me just say this. I'll say this: there are out there that can resist all ranged and really, really close to all melee. And I happen to have one. It's actually the Skolnar I used as a joke because it had triple resist poison, double resist melee.
Holy cow. So you can get, man, that is...
It's going to be broken. I mean, it's just broken.
Well, if you get the right skills on Skolnar or on Avalos, you can make Imperials or vice versa. I mean, but you would have had to get those... Wait, was that a... Hold on, I have to check to see what type of portal stone I just picked up. Because it looked like an event portal stone. Oh, they changed the look of the portal stones. Did that just happen today?
No, the visual differentiation is more dramatic now.
Okay.
Like the 3. It used to be 3 pointing straight up.
All right. So, by the way, everybody, with a boar, 960 souls is what you get for a 3-star. Now I've got to get... I'm going to wait 1 minute so I can have that portal regeneration, because I'm like that, and then I'll pop my next little portal stones. I'm glad that we were all crazy and think the same way, Cage. Sometimes I look at this game, and I've been playing games long enough to where, one, I know I've wasted tons of time and money on them, despite me being a free-to-play player, but this is how I get my enjoyment. That takes Titan opponent. Wait, a relic that takes opponent Titan XP for losing.
What do you mean?
No, Frank Martinez. That's what he's typed into chat.
That's like an XP vampire relic.
But then you're talking about removing skills and relic slots from Titans, if that's the case.
If they came out with a vampire-ish, health, regenerative Titan, I think that would be pretty cool. Like as in every strike that the Titan makes, this is for Halloween this year. Obviously, you can put Calvarax super cheap or whatever for Halloween, but if they made a Titan that had some sort of life steal every time that it attacks, and it's heals the actual Titan, I think that'd be pretty neat. And some vampire relics too.
That actually brings up my next point I wanted to pass by you guys. So currently, the meta stands as, when you start the game off, champions, infiltrators, and a little bit of rangers are what you're going to use to attack with. As the game goes further on, you need the berserkers, you need the guardians to compete at late game. Is this a healthy way to approach the game? Just have certain Titan classes be leveling classes, while other ones be what we approach at the end? Or is it a good idea to find ways to buff these subpar classes later on in the game? What are your thoughts?
As we know from the constant rotation of the game, different classes were their heydays. Whereas, champions used to be crazy good before Rangers showed up. So, obviously, Rangers have been owning the battlefield for a while. Has anyone also, Vintage brought it up earlier, slightly, in a quick comment, but we haven't discussed the fact that this year we should be seeing a new class drop. After the summer, maybe? Before the winter? But
yeah, I've heard Shaman.
That's just a prediction,
I fully expect Shaman Mage, standard game styles.
I would agree with the Shaman Mage assumption as well, because it's been listed Shaman and Mage class as being, or Sorcerer, on DOT database for too long, and we need another ranged Titan to be able to get this all sealed up. Sorry, I'm playing at the same time.
Me too.
Well, I've been thinking about, and they are making attempts to make other Titans better in the late game. The 5-star relics are an example of that. But I also see other abilities that they can drop onto something like a champion or a paladin. Something like you would find in other games like Thorns, where anyone that attacks it takes a certain amount of damage. That way you take you basically take people's attacks and turn it back on them. That way,
like a reflective damage thing.
Yeah, reflective damage ability. Now, they'd have to really balance that because, the last thing you want is your archers to one-shot themselves. But, yeah, I could see that at least...
Could Could you use that as a spell?
Yeah, that might be a good spell. But I think it would could if it was a skill ability, then we might see
literally reflect all damage for a certain time,
or not all or percentage damage.
I like that.
Yeah, even if it was a spell that, or maybe it would be two separate skills that reflect melee and skills that reflect, and it could just be a percentage of that damage, because if you have a paladin run up front and he's reflecting back range damage while absorbing the melee damage, or reflecting back 50% range damage, he's going to be able to do some damage to the backline while your backline troops are helping with the frontline troops attacking the paladin. So, I mean, I could see that being something that changes the nature of the game, because it would be maybe it would be considered magic damage, so it would get around the resist to melee or something like that. I don't know. Just brainstorming here. But yeah.
Also, too, a new class would also be. It's kind of interesting that there's certain things with the game that, for instance, with the new troop coming out, there's going to be a new building, and that will have a little bit of extra gameplay, I guess, that adds to it. But with a new class dropping, that means a new 5-star relic will also have to drop as well. So that's also very interesting.
Now, Born, I'm going to tell you this now. You say loan me the tokens, but think of how many events that I didn't use tokens on to save that many up. And so look back on all the events that you did complete. Yeah, there is a sacrifice that comes with having that many. I sacrifice because for events like this where I can't grind the whole time, I need those souls to get where I need to go. Because this is middle of the week stuff. Okay, Cage says, Elemental Absorb. Heal from specific elemental damage. Maybe gain resist, solve, double skill problem. Perhaps. I could see that. I guess my big fear is just still that power creep. As Vintage was saying, like, whatever new skills you have, they have to be balanced in the game. Like, any resist against ranged or something like that, they shouldn't reflect, or a spell like that. There's no way that they should have 100% reflect on the thing. Even if it's, 20% reflect. That is more manageable, because that can be overcome.
Well, if it's a spell, it's going to have to level up, so you might want to start it at like 5 or 10, and maybe grow it up to maybe like 25, 30 when it tops out.
Yeah, and if they could fix how spells deploy on defense, it could be very effective there too. I've been debating creating a video about overcoming spell strategies, just because there are some secret things that I know from attacking so often on how spells deploy that I don't want to necessarily want the community to know about, because then people will expect it. But it's
real quick question: what if they created a relic, and would you use it? This is my question. If they created a relic that actually multiplied the time that spells were dropped by 2 or 3, would you put that one relic on your Titan for defense if you knew that the spells would drop 2 or 3 times faster?
No. And that's just because the current nature of the spells, they either don't do enough damage or they don't do enough to affect the outcome of the battle on defense compared to the...
So what if the relic increased speed? Here you go. Here's the three different skills on the relic. Thank you for extenuating a better idea. So, if the relic has 3 different skills, first skill makes the speed of the spells drop twice as fast or 3 times as fast, depending on it, 3-star, 4-star. Then another one also increases the damage of the spells by 5, maybe 10, whatever. Make it crazy, like an X skill. And then the third thing is, the radius of the spell is also increased by like 5.
I would definitely get myself a set of those relics. and I would test the heck out of it. But go ahead, Vintage.
That wasn't me.
Oh, was it you, Drew, or was I just hearing
that was
myself?
actually me.
Okay, please say your thoughts, and anyone feel free to speak up in here, even over me, because sometimes I'm used to not having silence because I talk for a living.
No, I was trying to add on to Zalon's third skill slot. My idea was that increasing the duration of the spell.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea too. But I'm just saying, if there was a relic that would do something like that, would you use it? I mean, make something that would make defense better. Because if they're not going to make you be able to have more control over how your defense is run, then at least give them a better shot. You know?
Now, the problem with that, and it's going to come down to scaling again, I would definitely be interested in it, but when you're running a defensive relic build, the relics scale off of one another. The more armor you have, the better it is. The more health you have, the better it is. And if you have one relic, it's nice, but when you have 5 relics that do buff the same things, that's what you're really looking for. And so those spells would have to be multiplicative on each other, like, and you'd have to have 5 of them.
Different? What if they changed and decided to make it so that every castle, your actual garrison, not lands, but your actual garrison has relic slots?
Oh, I would like that. That would those be specific land or castle relics, so it doesn't interfere with the Titan relics. That would be an aspect.
I just came up with that just now because of what you guys were all talking about. But if they actually created a relic slot for your actual castle, and you would have a relic, like I was just describing, for spells, maybe you can have a relic for troops, and they would have an entirely new line of relics created for just defense. It had nothing to do with your troops or your Titan.
I think before they did that, they would have to come up with those debuff relics. Otherwise, I guarantee you, I would have an absolutely unbeatable garrison. You'd have to have the debuff relics.
Well,
but I love that idea, because in general, defense, for the most part, is almost pointless in this game.
Very true. For the most part, you're just trying to slow everyone down.
Yeah, you have to get miracle lucky on a very specific Titan and have all max relics. That's the only time defense even becomes relevant.
I'm just trying to make it. I was just trying to think of some sort of idea that would just be able to make the player feel engaged in their defense at least a little bit more, without having
that concept.
Totally change the game. You know.
That concept. And they just need to figure out some system for counterplay to it.
Yeah, and counterplay.
I don't mean totally either.
All right.
The way
You
counterplay.
all heard it here first. That's Zalon TM idea right there. All trademarked up.
Just because of how popular you are now, I'm just going to put that as the title line for this video, and everyone would be like, "Wow, Zalon actually joined in on this stream. Let's hear what he has to say."
You notice because JJ did his analysis on my stream, I put him up on my...
I know, that's why I mentioned this. No, we got a good group of YouTubers. Right, go ahead, Vintage.
I told JJ, I said, you have to have backups of that spreadsheet. Please, for the love of God, store it somewhere in case you get hit by a train.
Yeah, very true.
All right, Frank, I have used 2 tokens on this event so far. I am aiming to have about 5 that I use total. And anyone who's sat on the stream before knows that if I get a 3-star relic, I have to grind out another 1,000 before I allow myself to use another relic. So I'm going to try to stick to that, although I might not be able to. All right.
How many souls do you have so far? I didn't see.
Oh, I think I got like 2,200 souls or something like that. So...
Tell you what, it's a good feeling. You look up, you have 3,000 souls, and you're like, man, I'm almost halfway there.
Yeah, when you say that, when can you ever say that?
I don't know. Whenever I see people complete events in the first day, I'm like, wow, I'm never actually going to do that as a free-to-play player because I try to use all those regeneration portal stones. So I always time mine to finish the night before the event ends. Alright, so I only have 2,064 souls. Never mind. Thought I was cooler than I currently am. I'm going to have to use another token to get to my goal tonight.
I have a question for everybody. What type of relics do you want more than others? Like, of current, like, all Titan buffing, all troop buffing, or, like, Titan and army buffing?
I'll answer first because I have a different opinion than some, but I would much rather have troop buffing relics currently because that's where the power scaling comes in. Titan buffing relics, if I'm going to have one, I normally like it to be merged with a troop buff, or have troop buffing relics on it, or troop buffing skills on it. So my priority is troops, Titan troop, Titan. Your thoughts, Vintage and Zalon?
I agree. I personally, because I'm high castle level, it's all about the troops. Of my favorite relics happen to have a Titan and troop skill, and then troop skills, like the Bow Kings, for instance. Just a crazy good relic.
Oh my gosh, yes it is. I wish I would have gotten that second one because now I have 3 Siegfrieds I'm leveling up. and Odin. My ship came in.
You're so meta. You're so meta, shooter.
I never thought I would be meta on this game, but I'm actually not. None of those Titans, except for 1 Siegfried, are usable for another several months.
Real quick, just a minute. Pretty much on the same page on that when it comes down to the relics. The only thing I have to say is I don't have a lot of just straight all troop buff relics. So a majority of my Titans have Titan and troop. So that's pretty much how I've been going at it. But and that the relics that I look for the most, I actually really like the two. And I did made sure I grabbed them on my test account so I could try them out on as many Titans as possible because I don't have the collection. But the two all Titan and Army with the 3 different elemental resists on each one of them, the 4-star ones, they're actually they're really nice. They're from the Legendary and Legendary 2 collections, I think. And
those on my Matana.
You have them right now, Vintage?
Wow, I am getting good luck with these relics today, guys. Got 2 3-stars.
So, Vintage, you said you had those relics on your Matana?
Yeah. Talking about the.
Oh, for those of you who are unfamiliar with why troop relics are better, it just comes down to whether or not you want 1 troop or your Titan buffed, or you want 18 troops at the in-game buffed by your relic. The fact that you can buff 18 with 1 relic as opposed to just 1 is what makes them more powerful. But go ahead, Vintage.
Responding to Zalon there. You're talking about, it's called like the Braces of Wrath and the Helm of Wrath. Is that what you're talking about?
Yes. Both
Yeah.
of those, yeah.
You got those.
Yeah, I feel like those 2 and the what is it? The Sylvan, the Norse god one.
Shield.
Yeah, I feel like those are the 3 best of the Pantheon relics out of everything that they have.
What do you guys...
Now,
or go ahead.
I was going to say, there is the one that buffs all the human troops.
Yeah. No. Yes, there is that one. I'm sorry. There is that one. I also got that one on the test account, too, because that is a really good relic as well. Because I love I've always been a fan of human troops because they're super cheap. And yes, I believe that relic.
Of Siggy Militia, man. You're preaching to the choir there.
Yeah, I know. So wait a second. Which one was that? That's not Legendary 1 and 2 are the two Wrath relics, and the Norse gods has the shield. But which one has that?
A skirt. I can't remember the name. It looks like a skirt though, which is hilarious.
Yeah, but which is it? Is it expert? That one seems like the one it might be under.
It is. It's actually. It's like
yes.
surprising where it lives. Actually.
Belt of Vigor. Belt of Vigor. Yes, that's right.
It's beefy percentages too. I mean, it's like 40 and 50%.
Yeah, it's really high. So that's why I wanted it to make sure that I could test out some real high level stuff, because it's definitely very high percentages. I mean, it starts at 30, 22, and 30. The 3-star version of it. The 3-star version of it is like, I mean, for any beginning player, I'd be like, whoa, I'd grab that relic right away. It's like,
it's really good.
Yeah, some of this stuff is kind of nuts. Wish I would have had it a lot earlier.
Well, my current Siggy that I am leveling right now, I am actually going to go with the 86% Spearman resist to melee. I know this just came out of nowhere, and I was just thinking about it. And don't get me, it's not as good as having 90% resist, but that next relic pushes it over the edge. If I get a relic that adds 7% or even 6% extra resist, it now is better than all other damage resists. Because every percentage point after 90 just scales so hard.
Do you have Earthshaker then?
Yeah, I have an Earthshaker. I have an Earthshaker, I got the Wild Arrows, and I got Head of Mimir.
When I collect that 5,000 gems, I'm going to be pulling really hard for Earthshaker. I want Earthshaker or the Berserker one.
Oh, that Berserker
man,
one.
You're going to record that, and it's going to be a really good video. It's either going to be really good or really bad.
Oh yeah, I'll make a video either way.
I expect a slur of curse words if you get something like the Guardian Relic.
I try not to cuss on my videos, but...
I mean, okay, wait a second. So what you're saying is you think that there's a 5-star relic that actually isn't good? Because I actually, even though there's certain ones that go to classes that I don't use, like Infiltrator.
I honestly think when power scaling is taken into effect, that the Ranger one will be the weakest.
Yeah. You think Stormbringer is the weakest of the 5-star relics?
When scaling is taken into effect. Currently, it's probably near the top 2 or 3. The weakest one currently is that Guardian one. But that one, I think, has the most potential based upon the skill. It's the only time that skill's ever been printed.
Yeah, what? Resist to all?
Resist to all damage. Better than melee, better than the other one. Because basically, they print, 2 more relics for melee and ranged. You throw that on your Titan, now your Titan's immune to all damage.
But you realize, speaking of things, the Divine Gem Titan Urkon skill has resist all elements.
Oh,
then you can add that relic as well on top of it.
Yeah.
Add a few orbs.
Like 50-some% resist everything.
66, actually.
Vintage, don't be talking about my videos that I'm going to be putting out. You're ruining everything.
But elemental damage, elemental resist, I think are balanced at some level. That's what makes them fun to use. That's why I like the orbs. They represent a balanced system. Or as balanced as you can get while still being able to take down a garrison. If that makes any sense. But yeah, I've harped on that power scaling probably too much tonight already. I guess it's just me always having that in the back of my mind as a way that this game can be ruined.
Well, you have to remember too. It seems like for the most part that the older players, for the most part, don't hang out in Legend League anymore. That's why Legend League is completely fair. Another major part of the game that needs to be fixed is the fact that season rewards need. So, some suggestions on how season rewards can be fixed has already been brought up multiple times. But I would like to see package deals where first place gets 100, well, more like first place in Legend League should probably get about 250 Divine Gems and another a little bit better than the gems they're already getting right now, because that doesn't seem to be that great already. And then the 4-star, and then also too, they more or less should get a pre-leveled 4-star Titan. Obviously, still be it random, but at the same time too, you can also put every single Titan that was released in 2017 and put them in there, because that would include Siegfried, Krothos, Titans that we just never see at all in the actual season rewards. What do you guys think?
Well, Vintage actually made a video about talking about that stuff, and he went over a large portion of it. But yeah, increasing the diversity of Titans you can get from season reward would really make it better and more worth it going for better rewards, in my opinion.
I think the Titans should be significantly pre-leveled. Because a level 10, whatever you want to call it, I mean, come on. That's like 16 one-star Titans you fuse in and level 10. It's insignificant.
I honestly think that if season rewards were to be truly sought after, they need to have a currency like Divine Gems. Divine Gems basically allowing you to purchase guaranteed items as opposed to randomly getting the same Titans over and over. Because even if you add in a few League of Gods in the next 2 months, they're going to have all the Titans that they absolutely need. Or maybe a little longer. And so adding more content to things that Divine Gems can buy, I think would be a higher selling point to stay there.
Oh.
I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
I think there is one magical fix that would greatly increase the competition in the higher leagues. And I didn't go over this in my video, but this is a video I've been meaning to put out. In my opinion, leagues should only have 20 alliances. Having 30 through 50, they get nothing. They're dead alliances anyway. So you have more servers, and then it feels more like an actual competition. I don't know. What do you guys think?
It sounds like that's more catering to the fact that we don't have enough alliances yet. But I do like the idea of having it being a little bit more personal on the battlefield. Having the same alliance just beat the crap out of your alliance every week. So you could say, we're not going to take it this week. I just got a 4-star relic. All right, it's a boar helm. I don't know. What do you think, Zalon?
I mean, the one thing I've noticed is the fact that there are Legend League teams that are in the demotion zone every week, and they're still in Legend League the next week. I don't know if anyone has ever noticed that, but there are demotion teams that they don't get. There's no way for them to obviously be demoted and then brought back up again. They're just never demoted. So the Legend Leagues, like for instance, what I'm implying is, like I've seen the ping pong, there would be an alliance filled with a bunch of level or ranked 30 or 40 or something like that, and there'd be a bunch of people's minis inside of it. It's the same exact alliance,
exact same people in it. It would be there the very following week, and it's an exact same Legend League server. I'm like, well, if that's the case, that means they never got demoted, which means they're not demoting alliances out of Legend League. If they're not demoting them out of there, that means they have to continue to. They're basically saying that they have to keep a population level up there at the top, or else there's nothing. They don't want to not have two servers.
Okay. Frank, I was using a 3-star event relic for the 12 times boost. And I'm not sure about your other question, the 8.4x. Do you guys have any idea? I mean, once again, I don't use relics as often as other people, so you guys may be more qualified to answer that. Event relics.
Is he using the 1.2 boost also? I guess that's what I would ask.
I mean, Vintage, you're down. Are you playing in a Legend League right now, or are you down in? You said you're down in Masters.
So Masters, I actually jumped over some subscribers. I'm hopping out of events or rest until there's a good event. And Legends in quite a while, actually. When I was in my War Alliance, we used to battle it out, but I haven't been in a War Alliance in quite a while.
That's what it seems like up there. It seems like that's the way they continue to keep everything populated. Is they're not demoting the teams that are in the demotion zone. So
I know for a fact, for the longest time, there were only 2 Legends servers. They may have consolidated to 1. I don't know.
Oh no! They're still on 2. I just know that on the week to week with the leadership between non-toxic and not NT Squad. There's been multiple times that they're on opposite servers. So yeah, no, they still do.
The longest time it was, are you going to fight League of Gods? Are you going to fight War Phoenix or
PE? Yeah.
Or PE, yeah.
That's basically what it is. It's either the PE server or the League of Gods server. That's pretty much how they refer to it on a regular.
Well, I will say that it does. If I ever go down, like I have a mini that I play on occasion, maybe once every month or so, just so I can remember what it's like at the earlier levels. But it just feels so, like it feels like a different game when you're not in Legend League.
Man, I'm having a blast with my mini.
Well, that is good. That is really good. Have you picked up your first 4-star yet?
I did the Odin event with him.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I got a couple.
That is sweet. All right.
So it's second generation Vintage basically coming back through. You're reliving the experience all over again.
I mean, so my significant other, Athena, main account that I use for my videos is actually the one she started with. I haven't done Castle 1 through 15 in, it's coming up on 2 years.
Wow.
It's good. It's been a lot of fun. So he's teaching horse camps and doing all this other stuff, and I'm like, hey, I'll play with it.
Well, you two represent 2 of the oldest players in Dawn of Titans right now. Me, I'm a young whippersnapper compared to you two, because I started a full month after Zalon.
Oh yeah, a full month?
A full month.
I mean, it doesn't make that much of a difference at this point.
It does in my mind. Makes me feel better.
In your free to play, you're like, that's a whole 30 days. I didn't collect my dailies.
Hey, since everybody's here, just want to get overall your opinion on
The bed.
think if we could just say the test failed, you know.
If you could repeat that question, I accidentally turned down the volume there, and get the answer again.
Take on the last event.
All right.
Zalon, I did those polls just to test the new poll rates, and I totally regretted them after I did it, and I realized, oh crap, now I have all these relics that I don't want to use for this terrible event.
So are you using them in this event?
I'm actually using, well, on the main account, I used Flamehide. That was fantastic.
All right. Guys, I will be right back. You can continue talking.
All right.
Go over your screen.
Does anyone know how long the stream's been going?
Probably about
I'm actually going to have to drop here soon, fellas. I'll wait for Shooter to get back.
no. Wow, isn't it? It's early for you. You're West Coast.
I have a 7 a.m. meeting now.
It's on Titans. No excuses.
Gentlemen, I am going to have to go ahead and shut down the stream. I've got 2 little kids that got up and have ripped off their diapers and are running around. So,
Oh.
this is going to be an
Emergency.
emergency. All right. Thank you. I want to thank everyone for joining us. Everyone in Discord. Special shout out to you guys. Everyone in chat. Thanks for making this stream valuable to everyone that's come in. I'll get everyone's questions answered in upcoming streams, but look forward to it. If you haven't already subscribed to mine, Game Rescues, or Zalon's channel, go ahead and do so for more content like what you've seen tonight. You guys have a great night, and goodbye from the kingdom.
All right, later, fellas.
See you later.